Hey everyone, it's Monica. Welcome back to Homeschool Voices. In today's video, I'm going to give you some tips on how to build a homeschool routine that works for you. I want to start today's video with a quote from Brian Tacey. Successful people are simply those with successful habits. Sometimes I think routines get a bad rap. You might hear them called ruts. I don't really think that's fair because we have 5,000 decisions to make every single day. And if we can build a routine, we remove some of those decisions and we make our life actually a lot easier. So if I'm not reinventing the wheel every single day, if it's set in stone that I eat lunch at noon and I get started with work at 8:30 and I'm done at 12:30, well, that's several decisions taken off my plate, and now it frees up my brain space for other things, more important things. 2020 has been a crazy year. I've made a lot of friends. I know a lot of new homeschoolers. Many of those people had a great year, but there are some people that have had a hard year. They found it exhausting and bewildering, and they just felt like they were spinning their wheels the whole time. And one common theme that I noticed is that they had trouble establishing an effective routine. So in today's video, what I'm going to do is share some things that have worked for me in the past, and you take my ideas and take other ideas and create a routine that works for you. The first thing that I would suggest is to wake up at the same time every day and early. So I am suggesting that even though I am the kind of person that does not like to wake up early. I like to sleep in, I like to rest during the day. I like my downtime, we'll just say that. But I have found that when I get up around 6:30 every day and it's regular, I have a great day. We get so much done because really, after lunchtime, it's a little dicey. So I have found, at least for my family, that we want to get most of our work done before lunch, which means we have to get started before, 10:30, or we're not going to get that much done in the day. And then one day will add up to the next, and then I'll find myself frustrated and say, gosh, what did we do last month? I'm not sure. Yeah, wake up early. It does a lot of things for you. Biologically speaking, it is better for you. You will get better sleep because you will be genuinely tired at night, and you will sleep much deeper, I promise. If you've not tried this out, give it a try. Also, when you wake up early and your kids hear you, they're more likely to just wake up on their own without having to be poked and prodded and yelled at. And you're just gonna have a more positive start to your day. My next suggestion would be to get a little alone time every morning. With COVID, I have found that my husband is home, so I can go for walks. So I take an hour-long walk every morning. It really has done wonders to make me just calmer and happier and just feel more even keel. And when I get back, I'm ready to start the day on a positive note and set the right tone for the whole family. If you can't go for a walk, maybe your husband isn't home, or maybe you have little ones and it's just not doable, don't forget, you do have this amazing phone. You can do a yoga workout, or there's a million different workouts that you could do. But at least try to wake up before the kids wake up so you can just have a little time to yourself to think. Similarly, your kids are human beings and they actually have the same needs as you, which is they need to exercise. Fit in a little exercise at the beginning of the day. So go for a walk around the block. Whatever is reasonable, whatever you have time to fit in. It could be 20 minutes, it could be an hour. Maybe they go play basketball. Maybe you guys do a bike ride. Maybe it's a walk. Maybe it's a swim. I don't know. It depends on where you live. Maybe you guys all dance to music for 15 minutes in the living room. Just try to have a very specific time every day where you do this. So this is going to have two big benefits. One is that exercise actually helps the brain focus more after exercise, and it helps you retain information better. Also, that exercise, just that routine and that habit, your kids will know that after they come back, they will know that it's time to get to work. And you will have a lot less arguing and pushback when you say it's time to get to work, because they'll know that that's just the way it is. There's something about going to do one thing and then coming and doing another that just makes them accept it better. Now it's almost time to get started with your day. Before you get started, I would suggest putting out a tray of healthy snacks. So my kids like to stall as much as possible. That's either going to the bathroom or getting a snack. So make sure they have a good breakfast before they get started, and then put out a tray of healthy snacks. I try to cut up some fruits and veggies, put some nuts out, and when they say, "Can I have a snack?" I just point to the plate. And that cuts out a lot of possibilities for distraction. You've got good sleep. Your kids have got good sleep. You've got a little exercise. You got some snacks at the ready, and now you're ready to start your day. So you need to kind of have a routine for how much time are you going to spend doing school, generally speaking. You always want to be flexible, okay, but this is something to fall back on. So for us, it's 4 hours of schoolwork every day. I do have a 10 and a 13-year-old who will be having birthdays soon, so they are older. If you have like a kindergartner, I would shoot for like between a half an hour and an hour a day. I would say more like an hour because I also include reading time as part of their schoolwork because that benefits them immensely. But pick a set amount of time that you're going to do. Pick, times. So for us, it's 8:30 to 12:30. That is my goal every day, to do school between those hours, to not really take a break. Now, you could take a break. If you're going to take a break, try to make it a regimented thing. So maybe after 2 hours, so maybe you do 8:30 to 10:30, and you take a break from 10:30 to 11. And it could be a snack break. It could be a go outside and play break. But try to make it a regimented thing so your kids know not to ask you at 9:30 or 10 for a break, because every day you're going to repeat, "No, break time is at 10:30, or like us, you could say, "Nope, not taking any breaks." But try to make it a regular thing so they know what to expect, and so you don't get those constant questions. And those questions are not only irritating, they distract you from your train of thought. So it's hard for you to put a thought together if you're constantly being badgered with questions that don't really need to be asked. If you have a routine, they'll know what to expect and they won't ask you those questions. This year we're going to try something a little more regimented than we have in the past. This year what we're going to do is at 8:30 every day, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to work on edits from the previous day's writing work that my kids have done. And then from 9 to like 10, we'll say, I'll sit down with one of my kids and go over the edits and also have a discussion about anything that they read the previous day. Then I'll switch and do the same thing with the other child. And then I will do math with the first child, and then I'll do math with the second child. If you know anything about how we do school, I know that seems really simple, but I intentionally want it to be simple. I feel like life has gotten very complicated, and I want education to be simple. Included in reading is science and history, if you were wondering where those two subjects went. Socializing is extremely important for academic success. If your kids are not happy, then they are not going to do well with their academics. So you have to ensure that your kids are happy, and there's a lot of ways to do that. One big way is to provide social opportunities for your kids. So we leave the afternoons open for social stuff, for play dates, for activities that I organize through our local homeschool group, and that other people organize too. So in our family, the afternoons are for fun, for personal projects, for socializing, for events and activities. Those are the basics of creating a good, healthy routine that is going to ensure that you have a year that you can look back on and say, "We did something. I feel good about that." But before I am done today, I want to just briefly discuss also structuring the environment in your home to make it conducive to learning. So basically, there are some good things that you can do, but you can always also start with looking at your child and looking at the situation and saying, what could stand to be improved? For example, I have had friends say that their children are just not curious about anything, right? Because there's a really popular homeschool philosophy that I actually like, which is child-led learning. Well, how do you do that when your kid's not interested in anything? Well, that's not typical, and to me, it's a little bit of a red flag. I would look at the environment and say, is there anything in the environment that is causing this lack of curiosity? I would suggest that there's probably modifications that could be made. I would generally start with limiting or eliminating things like TV, movies, phones, video games, things like that. Now, I'm not saying that for everybody. I'm just saying if you have a problem, if your kid's not curious about anything, if life just seems boring to your kid, like if you go to the beach and your kid just sits there and just is bored, you might say, why is that? Now, maybe your kid hates sand. Okay, well, obviously that's not the problem. But if every time you leave the house, your kid is bored with life, you might say, gee, what's happening? And one immediate thought in my head is they have access to too much easy entertainment, too much highly stimulating entertainment options, and so normal life is just boring now. And that's a problem because that really dampens curiosity. So you just want to look at that environment. Number one, my biggest job is curating books. Make sure you have a lot of good books in the house. That takes time. You have to read reviews, you have to order them, you have to get them at yard sales, get them at the library. But take the time to have those books available. Number two, food, sleep, and exercise. It sounds awfully basic, but it really makes a big impact. So make sure your kids are have a regular sleep schedule, go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time, that they get exercise, and they have healthy food. Make sure that your kids are having fun. Having fun is actually really important psychologically and emotionally. So make sure that you're building in regular fun. It is one of those big rocks. I don't know if you've ever heard that analogy of big and small rocks, but it's an important thing. You have to build in fun into their life. Related to that, you as a parent need to be curious, be upbeat. You know, when you're outside and you see something, be curious about it. Say, that's interesting. I wonder why that is like that, and why does that happen? And just model that curiosity that you would like to see in your kids. And while we're talking about modeling, make sure that you're modeling the behavior that you want to see. So I can tell you from personal experience, probably 95% of the bad behavior in my kids starts with either me or my husband. And, you know, that's normal. None of us are perfect. But I will notice things and I'll say, gee, why is my kid doing that? And then I look at myself and I say, that's why, because I do that. So just look at yourself. Now, sometimes there might be behaviors you want to see in your kid that are absent. For example, reading. Maybe you want your kid to read more. Well, again, show your kid that reading is valuable and that it's important with your actions. Read. Let your child see you reading. It's not that hard to develop the habit. I can tell you from personal experience, I didn't grow up reading. Reading was a struggle for me. It was tiring. I have developed the habit, and now when I'm tired, I actually enjoy sitting down to read. It doesn't seem taxing. And it's simply just a habit that I have developed. You can do it too, and you can model that behavior. That applies for all different kinds of behavior, not just reading though. And lastly, I would just mention declutter. Sounds little, but I don't know. It's like when you have stuff everywhere and everything's a mess all the time, I feel like it can just be hard to learn. So decluttering is actually really helpful. So if you create a healthy routine and you really structure your environment, you're like 85–90% of the way towards having an amazing homeschool year. If I forgot anything, please tell me in the comments below. If you have any opinions, I would love to hear those too. If you like this video, please click thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, please click subscribe and the notification bell next to it. In the meantime, happy homeschooling and have a great day.